you hear that? So everyone, welcome to the Peer Space. It's really a celebration of the human narrative, of the roller coaster of life, with all the ups and downs and twists and turns that we're often on. A bit like the song that we're all kind of composing and performing in our lives. It's the fourth year that I've been running this, initially as a dinner group, and later, obviously, since the lockdown, as a virtual group. And it's really providing, on that basis, it's like a significant part of my song, obviously. So it's safe and positive and encouraging. And what we do is we do a deep dive into one person's world or one team's world to hear about their story, their passion, their vision, or actually to hear their song, basically, whether that's once a year or once in a lifetime. And it's interactive too. So over the next 40 minutes or so, up to half the time is for the speaker, effectively like a mini TED talk. And the other half will be questions for the speaker, discussion around the themes, and even potentially collaboration around theme and taking things forwards. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to our speaker for the evening to put him in the spotlight. It's Viking, monk, musician, healer, Hawk Ueland.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Niall. Yeah, what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about something which I call the Healer's Hub. And that came from a realization that, well, we have at least one healer here. And there are so many people who are in need. The COVID has not made it any easier. A lot of people are hurting. And then you have the healers who are like running around trying to find clients. It can be a challenge. But what struck me, I'm personally, I've been a healer probably since I was born 55 years ago. But I'm licensed in Salung, which is Tibetan energy healing, and I'm a holistic healer from Norway, licensed there as well, and also song healer. That's the reason my voice is a bit off, because I've been singing on the Star Maker app right before I came here, and I found a rather challenging song. So I need to do some healing on myself. The Healer's Hub, that is about, there are some clients I can work with. There are some clients I resonate with, where I really feel that this is somebody I can help shine their own light. And then there are others who I sense or hear or whatever, we are not a good match. And what do we do then? Well, we probably, many of us would just plug on and say that, okay, I'm going to fix this. But why not instead cooperate? That's the whole idea behind the Healer's Hub. You can find it on LinkedIn if you search for Healer's Hub. And the point is to have a group of healers who are there are some qualifications that need to be fulfilled, because as with my own background, I've had to do a lot of work on ethics and stuff like that. And I think that's very important that we are aligned and on the path. But then if somebody comes to the Healer's Hub and say that, okay, I need to have a healing, then I can say, okay, your issue, what you really need is someone like Dr. Marilyn here, or Jacqueline, or then we have a connection. And I can say that after a short talk, say, okay, I refer you to another one. And then cooperate like this, really in order to, because to me, healing is not about raising myself. It's not about getting money or power or whatever. It's about helping others shine their light, to really fully realize the light that is inside them, which is inside every human being. And it's not like we come with our magic hands and now I'm going to fix you. I'm going to fix Niall here now. That is not the way it works. It's about reminding people that your body is, in fact, perfect. Sometimes it forgets it. And there might be very small things that needs to be changed, whether it's like Dr. Marilyn is a naturopath, so she knows a lot about diet and stuff. Then a little change in your diet can make a big change, or a little change in your environment, the people you surround yourself with. That might be another thing. There are so many things that we can change that will make such a big difference, and that has been I've been a social worker for 22 years, working with some of the most stigmatized and people who are really on the outskirts of society, the ones who sit in wheelchairs, people with autism spectrum disorder, people who look strange because they have some genetic issue or whatever, people with Downs. And where was I going with this? To really see the perfection also in those who are outside. That is my main lesson from my work, to really fully see that, for instance, people with Down syndrome are the most empathic people I have ever met. And so many of them have such a strong and pure heart. So I'm not going to get sentimental here, but I have a couple of one of them actually was the reason that I met my ex-wife, who I was married to for 25 years. And I will always remember Björn and the way when I came to work and he looked at me and said, "How are you doing, Hakon?" And I said, "I am fine. I'm going to work." And he said, "No, how are you doing?" And that was, yeah. So, but my point was also, what is this? Because to me, that is a very important thing. What is the smallest change we as healers can make in our clients' lives? How the smallest suggestion, because we don't make change, we help facilitate change. What's the smallest change we can make in order for them to get a better life? That is also what I've learned from my years in social work and also as a healer. Dr. Santi, I've seen. It's very good to see so many of you are here now. It's really appreciate you coming. So I would like to ask if there are any questions that people have about the Healers Hub. Please come up.
What I'll do is put it back, just changing the view on the recording. It's open floor. Who would like to ask a question to Hawk, or would like to contribute to the dialogue? I think we're starting with questions, right, Hawk?
Dangerous to come up on stage. Wow.
Oh no, I'll ask the question. First of all, thank you so much for your honesty and for your vulnerability. The latter is actually used a lot today. I think overused, and I love that you're sharing your fragility today as well. So my question is that, and this is asked again. This is how has the pandemic, and by the way, which isn't over, by the way, how has the pandemic changed you in at least one profound way?
I go first. I am an HSP, highly sensitive person, and I'm extremely sensitive. To me, it's been because I sense the emotions of people, and so I need a lot of alone time, because just walking through a neighborhood and experiencing, especially before the vaccine program started working, how many people are in fear, how they are experiencing isolation as such a burden, how they yeah, I found I'm not afraid of the virus myself, because I'm quite healthy, but I really, yeah, I can, yeah, I think you know what I mean.
That was a question for everyone, right? As well.
Yeah.
So others can come in if anyone else wants to. I mean, it's a ripe question, right? I've certainly got some thoughts, but I will trying to go last.
Well, for me,
Bob,
obviously,
Bob.
It changed my whole lifestyle career path, from having to leave Bulgaria prematurely and starting a new business. So it's indirectly COVID caused that, which is a positive thing from my point of view. Obviously not so for everybody.
Well, I could add on that then, because I did something very similar, because I was caught out, if you like, in Bulgaria. And for me specifically, I remember thinking, if these 3 or 4 things don't happen, I'll be fine. And all those things happened. So a year later, but it took me a year to figure out I should come back to the UK. I think I discovered over the year, because it's a very good time for doing your own personal development. I mean, I did come across high sensitivity. I'm pretty sure I am as well. I knew that I was a deep thinker, come across the term deep thinker a few years back. And the question was actually, how did it change you? I think it's been a very good time for introspection, but I'm not bad at that anyway. And I think that now, in some ways, it's been a sort of a hell, but I feel like I'm really coming out of it now. So I feel like a survivor now. I feel like a real survivor, and maybe I appreciate things much more. And I see that there's maybe an opportunity now for me to really thrive, and I appreciate things perhaps on the level that I didn't before. The important things in life, if you like. So I would certainly say, without going on much longer than that, I would say that in response to that question. For me. Anyone else would like to answer that question, or anyone else have a question, or anyone else have a thought? Unless Hawk wants to take it a different direction. Marilyn.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Hawk, for all your insight, and I consider you a really good friend, and I'm glad that we can always connect on these particular moments. I really don't have a question, but I appreciate, and I really am grateful for you being transparent, and yeah, I truly appreciate that. As far as COVID, the one thing that has helped me, that propelled me through COVID, was the fact that I was home. What am I going to do? So I really got into LinkedIn. And if it hadn't been for the COVID, and I'm very positive, so I look at the positive side of all this, I would not have met all you people. I wouldn't have met Niall. I wouldn't have met Hawk. I wouldn't have met any of you. And I think that's really that I have met and nurtured a lot of wonderful relationships. So thank you.
Right. And we got something.
It's beautiful.
Here did Rosalind? Oh yeah, Rosalind put about the lighting a fire under your butt. moving up the trauma recovery.
Yeah.
Funny, that idea that it's felt like a time for recovery as much as anything, it's like a lot of time, right? Anyone else like to respond to that question?
I can say something about my COVID experience. But first of all, Hawk, you reminded me of some work that I did years ago. I became a psychotherapist and hypnotherapist, and I had a practice in a place called Ueland in West London for a while. But then I dropped it. I got tied up with this software company, the problem solving, and I really.
Vanya, can you turn off your mic? Mute your mic.
And you reminded me that of something that I did when I was in lockdown in Australia, because I was stuck in Australia for 7 months last year with my family. I say stuck; it was really great. I got to know my grandchildren really well because I was stuck with them. Yeah, so I've had an unusual COVID experience, but you reminded me that I really could do with getting more in touch with what I was doing with my psychotherapy. I've got 1 or 2 things in mind that I've discussed with people here that I really need to get on with. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Phil. It's interesting, the international impacts. I was thinking the international connection that's happened, that's different, and how people are impacted by being stuck in places and all kinds of things. Fascinating.
Yeah, and I think that is, I spoke about my personal things when it comes to COVID. Actually, it hasn't changed ever very much because I've been a monk for close to 2 years. So and I've been sensitive for forever. So, but what I've seen is that there are so many good people who are gathering and helping each other out. You see it on LinkedIn. There are like the One Heart Vanya works for, and so many people who really are gearing up with humanitarian work, helping others for nothing, doing a lot of great things. It's like, it seems that the COVID has been some sort of catalyst for waking us up, that we are dependent on each other. We need each other. We need the connections. We need to help a fellow human being who perhaps pays it forward, and that is so it's like a basic primal human need, almost like in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We need, and we've been reminded of this by the COVID, that your neighbor might need you, or somebody in India, or somebody in Portugal or UK, and it doesn't really matter that, as long as we are able to communicate, it doesn't matter where they are even. So that is, I think it's so powerful. It's really, and that is also why I get frustrated by LinkedIn sometimes, I must admit, but still the connections I've gotten there, like some of you are here, and I would never have gotten to meet, like Dr. Sandev Singh, who's here, if it wasn't for the COVID pandemic. And it's amazing. It's really cool.
It's
But can I
interesting.
just ask Sadev Singh? I went to your LinkedIn profile, and it's because we're third generation apart, I can't link with you. I wondered if you might put your email address in the chat window. so I can link with you in some way.
But Phil, aren't we linked? Because I'm linked to. Sorry, that
I can't. Well, when I went to the
was weird.
when I went to LinkedIn, it's not. It's showing this. Oh, it's now showing a second. Oh, right. Good.
Yeah.
I'll try again. I'll try again. Good.
Yeah.
I wanted to say I agree about the like LinkedIn and Zoom has become the two things I've used for the peer space. Like it was a dinner group before the lockdown, but we tried different things, but these are the two things that have become the kind of absolute like godsend, you know, really. And I completely agree. There's several people saying the same thing. Become so crucial to think that. I personally was also traveling regularly to do business before and looking for the physical connection to meet people that way. So it's absolutely crucial.
I've just looked it up again. So then it says when I click on connect, it says to verify this member knows you, please enter their email to connect.
Yeah, he put his email in the chat, so that should be okay.
Yeah, got the email in the chat there.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Hawk then? Hawk? Oh, I've got a question which is about what's the is there a roadmap? Like if you were in terms of moving the Healers hub forwards, have you got an idea about how to move forward, or has anyone else got ideas about that, or how do we go to the how would it evolve from here, if you like? Have you got any thoughts on that? Is my question, I suppose.
Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm working on a little survey, which is like an entry survey for everybody who wants to be a part of this, and then I'll have a talk with everybody soon, and then allow people to join as working for the Healers Hub, so everybody can see that they are in that group. I'm thinking of using, for instance, LinkedIn Live on my personal profile for having meetings, and also healings.
Right.
Online healing and remote healing can be very powerful. So also it's about, because of course, I mean, I don't tend to ask for donations, but to go to healer, that can be a challenge for some people financially. So why not have for instance, a weekly meeting where people can come and healers can gather and work.
The routine would be people would come along and it's like they're giving something back. It's a bit of a give back. You know, they might be earning separately in their practice, but yeah, sounds great. I love the sound of it.
But it's also, it's not like, I mean, though I know that 88% of, according to a friend of mine who has written a couple of books on healing, many, 88% of the healers he studied, they didn't charge. Some of them, most of them asked for donations, but they didn't charge. But of course, we need money to survive. It's the world we live in. So it's not going to be like, you can't, if you get a client through the Healers Hub, then it's your client. It's not going to be like that.
We've got a question, Hawk. I think on Koreshwa, did you have a question or something to contribute?
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate Hawk for this wonderful initiative. And at the Singers, he also took the name of India. And I had a few observation and a kind of comments this post-COVID, especially. I think the whole world needs to rethink, redefine all kinds of welfare activities, which is done through the NGOs worldwide. You know, the subjects taken up by the NGOs should be a little changed. And now, because we have been working for the children, we have been working for the women, we have been working for the elderly people. Now, post-COVID, many people have become alone worldwide. Several people, husband have died, children have died, wife is alone, or the wife has died, children has died, the person is alone. So several situations, new situations have emerged. And COVID has given us an indication that God wants to tell you that you please understand you are born alone and you will die alone. there is no relative, there are no friends, there is no society. So you have come alone and you have to go alone. Even if the doctors wants to save you, you can spend millions of rupees, but you cannot, dollars, but you cannot be saved. We have seen that people have gone to the 5-star, 7-star hotel hospitals and they have not returned. People who had to live, they were just taking some small medicine or herbal medicines at home, and they could save their lives. They were alive, not because of those herbal medicines or because they were at home, but because the God wanted you have to be alive. But if he wants, if the nature wants that you could not, so I have seen in India the biggest doctor, Dr. K.K. Agrawal, who had in fact taken 2 times of doses also, the twice doses of the vaccination, and he died. Every day he was addressing, every day he was giving free services to all the COVID patients, and he could not save himself. And every facility was there for him. So we have to think about that. There is no dearth of money all across the world. There is no dearth of money, but where the money is being spent, where these are things going, what SDG is, Sustainable Development Goals, we have been talking about United Nations, where on ground these big institutions are really working. They're billions and billions of dollars they are spending, and they are just doing the paper management things, headline management things, and you tick the box, these has been done. Nothing comes on the ground. I have never seen any single impact of any UN related bodies which is doing. For example, in the entire world, there have been several United Nations peacekeeping missions. Ask them, you were there for 5 decades, 6 decades, 7 decades. Have you solved any single problem in the last 50 years? So what the hell you are doing there? How many billions of dollars you have spent? What is this conspiracy? It's the global conspiracy.
Sure.
Is it the conspiracy?
The thing is,
Country or any institution or what? What the hell? This is the taxpayers' money, whether it comes from India or America or Japan or Germany or New Zealand, doesn't matter. It's the taxpayers' money.
What you're talking about, Onkar, and thank you for coming, by the way. I really appreciate it. What you're talking about is, as I perceive it, is change needs to come from within. If there's a country who has a problem, they can get some external help. But for instance, Afghanistan needs to solve their own problems. India needs to solve their own problems. Pakistan needs to solve their own problems. But sometimes perhaps they need some facilitators who can assist. But they don't really need foreign troops who come in and say that we're going to fix this like this, and that's it. Do I perceive you correctly?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts? We've got about 7 or 8 minutes to go. So who else has some thoughts or questions for Hawk, or comments, or how do we move forward with healing?
Well, just a couple of things, since I'm very transparent about my journey, is that if you can't come to grips with the setbacks and the self-sabotage, if you can't get past all the bullshit that you see on LinkedIn about how, hey, just get over it. If you do these 5 things, I guarantee you, just cut the bullshit. Don't buy into it. Don't give these charlatans any of your hard-earned money. Just don't. So, find out.
But I got to plug one guy though who's not here. John Lenhart, Lenhart. Please do take his free test. I've taken so many IQ tests, personality tests. First time I was tested, I was 4 years old, and I was on the stage when my mom was studying psychology. I took a cognitive test, but his test is really, it is special. So please do check out John Lenhart.
Do share that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roz, did you want to say something else?
Say one thing. There's also a lot of tests. I had to take a test for a mentorship program. It was a test of false choices. It was a test of false binaries. I said, 1 minute I'm like this, and 1 minute, yeah, I like this too. They go, choose one. I go, this is so stupid. I paid $1,000 for this. My God. The great thing is, though, is I got my money back.
You did.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
You know, so if you, so there are wonderful people on LinkedIn, and a lot of them are in this room, you know, but really do your research when it comes to, you know, overcoming obstacles, in my case, getting unstuck, and look at people's, you know, track record. Look, I mean, are they compassionate? There are LinkedIn coaches who ridicule people in posts. My God, I can't believe, you know, who make fun of people who are afraid to get on camera.
Yeah.
Right. This is real. So yeah, those. So I just want to say,
Go for genuine people,
yes,
like
be nice to
Rosalind
yourself.
Krieger here. She is the real deal. And I gotta plug my music before we quit.
Do it quickly so that if anyone else wants to talk, if anyone else hasn't spoken, go on, go, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Ancient is my name on all the streaming networks, Spotify and stuff. Man and Ancient put together with one A, and there I call it healing music. Some people have said that it helps, especially with some mental depression and concentration and stuff. So check it out.
Multi-million downloaded, right? Multi-million
Well,
downloads.
yeah, the song that he put up in the event has been played 5.4 million times on an app called Star Maker. It's like in 4 days. That's like,
that's
wow.
Brilliant. Obviously, share the links to the music. Right, guys, 5 or 6 minutes. Some of the guys that haven't spoken perhaps would like to say something about the topic or final question for Hawk. Got about 7 or 8 minutes to the wrap up. So, anyone?
If no one wants to say anything, I just want to mention.
I just wanted to add just one line that Mr. Hawk is very, very popular in India because of his reciting of the Gayatri mantra. Beautifully he has recited, and I have seen on his website. So I must congratulate him for the wonderful presentation of Gayatri mantra. That's all. Thank you so much.
Great to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, hearing that from an Indian, it's like, wow.
Can you share it?
I'm good to share it here as well.
I can put it. It's up on my website, amancient.one. There's a link there.
Phil, do you want to come in?
I was just going to say about healing. There's a lot of talk now, of course, about healing the planet, and we've been talking about healing people, ourselves, others, and I just wanted to throw in that there is an extreme urgency about healing the planet as well.
Very true, Phil.
For sure.
Thank you for raising that, because the way I think of it is, if I work on healing with one person and I suggest, can you pay it forward? Then it multiplies exponentially. So you start with one person and then it moves on. And people who are in flow with themselves, they won't abuse the planet. They won't go out and cut down the Amazon or kill birds or do all the throw plastic into nature or whatever. They will focus on what is best for our Mother Earth. So to me, that is start with one.
I have a very specific view about obviously I'm passionate about spaces and gathering spaces. I genuinely believe the best way for everyone to heal is to have space to share, just to share, not to have solutions, but just to have the opportunity to share in so many different ways that you can. Like, this is an example, obviously, but it could be one-to-one, it could be, you know, in music, it could be like I'm convinced from all the different things I've done around spaces that is the one that heals the most, you know, just to have the ability to express yourself in your own way or in many ways. Just
I put something in the chat, which is something I would invite you all to do. If you Google most important plans for the planet, it'll take you to a thought space sphere, which should start you on a journey through a number of ways of thinking about all that.
cool.
Some
You're gonna
work-
share it?
Yeah, I've shared it in the chat.
Okay.
I just put, you need to, if you Google
Okay.
most important plans for the planet.
Mm.
So
And at the top of Google, it will give you a link to.
And you,
Okay.
you can also check out Neil Donald Walsh, his work. I think the Conversations with God are amazing, and he's written about how can we change the world. He's actually invited me to Oregon on Clubhouse, so yeah, I would love to go and see him.
Can you share that as well in the chat?
Of course.
It's probably time for one final comment or question, very last minute or two, and I just want to wrap up and do a little very quick promo for the next event. Anyone else have a final comment?
Yeah. I have one question. Yeah, may I just share something about all this? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Hawk. Now, yeah, I'm directly just asking to Hawk and all sharing here. See, that healing is correlating to our mind, body, and the soul as well. So that is also the basis of the yoga, meditation, and the nutrition, diet, and holistic, all these things. Not only this, we are going to end here, but that is all the traits of the healer. And that is correlated to psychic energy as well. In our Indian philosophy, we talk about the karma, means the birth of the person again. So in that philosophy, I can say here, do the healer interfere in karma of the one they heal and also take their problems upon themselves? How it is correlated to the healing? Yeah.
Very good question. Sometimes there are people who I know I should not heal or should not work on healing with, because they need to walk their path, because they need to, their experiences have led them to a conflict that they need to go through and learn from, or an illness or whatever. So to me, it's not about interfering with karma per se, but it's more about seeing that this life is a school. We are learning from it, and part of the grades we get are actually karma. You know, racking up karma points by being a horrible person, or going towards your reward, which maybe you can call it nirvana or whatever. So to me, it's all about balance and knowing which is what is correct for the client.
Brilliant. And just want to say, because we're just coming up to the hour, but Hawk, did you want to have a sort of final point or a final kind of call to action to finish up? And
yeah, I would like to say thank you to the ones who were here. Namaste to the Indian visitors, and namaste is a beautiful greeting. It means, it says, the divine in me greets the divine in you, or bows to, and it's like very much respectful. To me, respect is very important. Do visit Healers Hub and connect with me. I'm open to connect with everybody, even though I have a creator's profile, so it says follow, but do click connect instead, and I'll connect back. And if you are a healer, I would love to talk with you and to cooperate, because true cooperation is just like a choir. when the choir really sings together and all the different voices just weave together and make a big whole. It's so beautiful. So thank you, Niall, for having me.
Hawk, it's been wonderful. Honestly, I've really enjoyed it again, and we've had plenty of time to talk as well, as much as anything. Quite interactive. So I really, really appreciate it. It's such a wonderful topic, and I want to carry on and be part of whatever the next part of it is, because it's such a fascinating area. But the hour is up, and I just want to, so thank you very much. Applause. Hawk. And everyone else that's come along to participate. The next event is in 2 weeks, and it's the story of Wind and Bones, which 2 friends of mine who are professional writers and both doctors of writing, they're going to come, and they've got most wonderful, they've written a lot of books, and they teach about writing, and there'll be more information on the LinkedIn page. So I'm just posting now. The peerspace.com is our homepage, if you like. All the event information is on the LinkedIn page. So it's Dr. Hannah Stevens and Dr. Will Buckingham, the story of Wind and Bones, and I think they're going to make it quite interactive. So that's 2 weeks, same time, but all the information will be on the LinkedIn page. So 1 minute past the hour. Thank you again, everyone, for coming along. Thank you, Hawk, and hope to see some of you again.
Many thanks, Niall.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night to everyone.
Thank